If you could change any choice you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of the Inspired Choices Show, business optimization expert, Christine McIver.
Yes, it is. I am Christine McIver, and I am your host tonight on the Inspired Choices Show here on the Inspired Choices Network. I am very much looking forward to having this conversation with you. And if you would like to join us live, you can do so in Facebook for about the first 15 minutes of the show. You can join me live on TikTok. You can ask questions in TikTok and I will be answering them. And you can join us live on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room. And this is where we interact and we really get involved in what it is that we would like to change and what it is that we would like to have more of in our lives, and most especially in our businesses, because I'm all about business. I absolutely love business. I am a business optimization expert, and I work with clients and with hosts here on the Inspired Choices Network, showing them how they can optimize their business, how they can be strategic and take action in a way that's really going to expand their visibility and bring their expertise to the world and ultimately grow their business and have more pleasure in their lives, and most especially in their business, because I think business is pleasurable, and I've really set on a mission to show other people how business can be pleasurable. So who'd like to have some pleasure or some more pleasure in their business? I would love you to just, wherever you are, whether you're listening live or you're listening in one of our many, many podcast platforms, I would love you to put in a hell yes. I would like to have more pleasure in my business. We've got some me's happening in the chat room. That's awesome. We've got some stuff going on here on Facebook and on TikTok. It's a wild night, but let's get right into it. So, if you would like to, if there's anything that you hear in tonight's show that you would like to know more of, you would like to have some of your questions answered privately, I would love you to send me an email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. That's CHRISTINE at inspiredchoices.ca. You know, I really do know that people in business, they can do absolutely amazing. And I talk about this all the time, but one of the greatest things that they need to do is they need to have a strategic plan, not just a plan for, okay, today I'm going to show up. That's not a strategic plan. A strategic plan is looking at things on a very big global level and looking at where you are at and where you want to go, not looking at your quote unquote competitors. So I do say quote unquote competitors because I do not believe that there are any competitors to anyone's business out there. And I'll tell you why. And then we're going to dive into the show. There's nobody that has your same fingerprint, right? There's nobody that has your exact same energy as well. So your energy is very unique. It's a unique signature in the world. The way that you approach business, the way that you serve your customers and your clients, the way that you create. If you're a writer, an artist, a candlestick maker, whatever it is, there's no one that's going to do it exactly like you. And to think that there are other people out there competing with you will have your energy and your focus on the wrong thing. Yes. Someone in the chat room says, oh, I love that. I am a unicorn. We are all unicorns. And the reason that we're all unicorns is because there's no signature like our signature, an energy like our energy. And the way that you approach business, the way you approach your clients, the attitudes, the belief systems, everything that you are that makes up the uniqueness of you, and the way that you create your business is very unique, and no one else can bring that sameness to the table. Now, when you understand what a gift that is to your clients and your customers, you're going to show up differently. You're going to show up fully, and you are going to deliver such a dynamic service or product to your customers and your clients that it's going to be an amazing experience for them. And when you're focused on the brilliance that you are, when you recognize the uniqueness that you are and what you can deliver, you're going to have an entirely different experience with yourself, with your business, with your clients, and with your bank account. So that's what I really want to be talking to you all about tonight. So we're talking about, are strategic actions or flying by the seat of your pants? Oh my gosh. Are you responding or reacting in your life and business? It is your choice to create strategic actions or fly by the seat of your pants. When we do not stop, pause, and plan a true strategic plan, we are in essence flying by the seat of our pants. Because what is flying by the seat of our pants? It's reacting and reacting and reacting, and that in itself creates so much stress. It creates so much worry and puts us in a financial position that is often a reflection of our strategic planning or the lack thereof. So if you are ready to change all of this and take control of your life, driving your business forward to greater success, I want you to join me. I want you to email me your questions. If you're listening to this after the live episode, you can certainly do that. And I want you to participate. I want you to get in there with your questions about what's going on, what's been working, and what's not been working as we go through tonight's show. So again, my email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. So what is strategic planning? What does that look like? Well, if you're new in business, and I'd love for you to let me know wherever you are, how long have you been in business for? But if you're new in business, I would suspect that you are flying by the seat of your pants. The thing of it is that I think that really for the first 5 years of your life, it's it's the experience of, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I really am good at in business. I don't know really how to do this business. And you're learning as you're going. And so reacting is your mode of operandum because you can't see the big picture yet. You may have desires, which most of us do when we start in our own business. We have desires. You may have things that you're looking outside of yourself and you're seeing what other people are doing and you're thinking, I would like that. I'd like to be able to do that. And so you're pointing out at things that others are doing, but yet you don't know about yourself. And one of the biggest reasons why we don't know about ourselves is because we haven't yet done it. Um, Somebody was talking about, I can't even see who it was. I was listening to someone today and they said that they would approach failing and failing. Oh, I remember it was Ranchelle, one of our hosts here on the network, and she talked about when she was bodybuilding, and you get the most gain in your muscles when you actually fail. So the more that you lift when you can no longer lift, that's when you're going to get the best growth of your muscles. And I don't do this, so don't come at me if I'm explaining this wrong. But so she would go for failing. She would always say, okay, I'm going to see how far I can go until I fail. And that's exactly what we want to be doing in our businesses. We want to keep going. We want to keep trying new things so that we can begin to understand who we are in this business. And so I want you to give yourself a break. If you really are new in your business, even if you've been in a different business before, this particular business that you're in now, it's new. So I want you to really give yourself a break. All right. And I want you to understand that you are in the learning stage. If you think of business like you do grade school and then high school and then college, if you think of it like that, you really are only up to about grade 3 when you've been in business for 5 years. You still have so much to learn. Now, of course, if you've been in business before, there's some fundamentals you understand, and you may understand how to do your accounting. You may be really good at communicating, but there's still lots and lots for you to learn in your new business. So when you can come at it from that perspective of, okay, I'm really in like the trial and error. I'm really in, let's see what this is like. Let's see what this is like. When you can approach your business and your business creations with an open mind of adventure, you are going to learn so much more and you're going to be open to growing. But when you are approaching business like, I cannot fail, I have to do really well, I've got to prove myself, right? Who's ever said that? I've got to prove myself, or thought I've got to prove myself, right? When you can come at your business with this open mind and you're not putting all of this pressure on yourself, you're going to be like a young child that goes to play, maybe goes out. I can remember when my son was playing soccer for the very first time, and these kids didn't know what they were doing, right? They got on the on the field and they're just running in all directions. They were having fun. They didn't care what the other person was doing, and they were just running and playing, and it was an adventure for them, and they had a lot of joy. I want you to remember this. When you are on an adventure and you are having joy on your adventure, you are much more attractive than someone that's trying to prove themselves. So if there are people out there watching you in your business, and we think everybody's watching us, but trust me, everybody's worried about everybody else watching them. But if you think that there are people out there watching you, I want you to know that if you are having fun, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it isn't quote unquote perfect, you're going to be attractive. If you're excited, you're going to be attractive. The very first business I ever went into, I was quite young. I was 21 years old when I went into this business, and I got training for about, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half of training. I just was so excited about the adventure that I broke records every single time I went into business. Every time I went out to do the business. So I actually went into people's homes and sold skincare and makeup. And I had no idea. The shows that we put on were supposed to be an hour and a half long. My first show was 20 minutes long, and I sold $750 worth of products, which blew everybody's mind. Now, I just thought it was normal, right? So I would just go to my next show and I would have that much excitement and I would be just thrilled about everything. And I just kept breaking records after records after records. Well, I was a month in, and they started telling me like, "Oh my gosh, Christine, like you are breaking every single record." Now, what was really funny was when they told me that, I started to bring my excitement down a little bit. Yes, there was this initial, this is really, really amazing. But then I started to bring my excitement down because I thought, oh, I'm doing something other people don't do. And it was that inexperience that started to pull me back some. But the point of this right now is that my excitement was what drove me forward and made me attractive to those that I was speaking with. So who are you drawn to in business? Who are you drawn to out there that their excitement is actually pulling you in? And if they're excited, they're giving off an energy that you're receiving that energy. So put yourself in the other place. Put yourself in the person that's excited and how people are going to be drawn to you. That's where you want to begin at the early stages of your business. Go on an adventure. Be excited about what you're going to learn and allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to fail because it's in the failing where you're going to learn about you, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. When I'm working with clients, I often say, I want you to imagine that you are standing in front of a buffet of beautiful food and you've never eaten any of that food before. And you're just going to walk up and you're going to taste it and you're going to go, I don't like this. Next, oh, that tastes good. And this is what it is to be in business is you are really going out there and you are tasting the opportunities. You're tasting what's available and you're learning about you. Stop trying to prove yourself. Stop trying to hit all of these big markers and just be willing to go out there and have fun. So we're going to go for our first break. When we get back, we're going to start to dive into the second stage of your business where the strategic planning is essential. All right. So you're listening to Inspired Choices on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Christine McIver, and I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you'll stick around. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right. Thank you again for joining tonight, everyone. We are talking about strategic actions or flying by the seat of your pants. Now, primarily, I talk about this from a business perspective, but you can talk about this from a personal perspective as well. When you think about planning out your life, when you think about planning out your future, possibly planning out growth in your family, perhaps growth with your home or your bank accounts, your investments, you can be looking at all of these different things. And we have some people in the chat room tonight. I know they are strategic planners, and I know that they are looking forward in their life. And I'm very grateful to have you all here tonight. So definitely keep the questions, keep the comments coming, because it's fabulous. So in the first segment, we talked about what it's like in the beginning stages of your business, right? In the first 5 years, basically, you are maybe up to grade 3. Like when you think of it really in growing with your business. Now you're starting to get to the second 5 years in your business. And now this is where it becomes very important that you've really been cataloging what's been going on in your business. Most people, what they're doing with cataloging or tracking in their business is they're tracking the numbers. Their focus is on the numbers. They're looking at their accounting, they're looking at their balance sheet, their income statement. They're looking at all of those things, and they are assessing their success based on those things. That is absolutely the wrong place to focus. Now, I talk about numbers all of the time. I talk about how important it is in your business to know your numbers, how important it is to stay on top of them. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when you're looking at strategic planning, where you need to be focusing on, first of all, is what is success for you? What's that going to look like? You need to be really tracking that. So if your success is to have a certain number of clients every month, then you need to be tracking that and to see your patterns, right? Even tracking when you're getting those clients, even during the month. Because we have lots of different cycles. A woman's body has a cycle, the planets have cycles, even during the year. I noticed that some of I actually did this earlier this year. I went through and looked at the cycles of my host. So I am the CEO of the Inspired Choices Network. And I looked at the cycles on when clients would generally come in, when there was a big influx of new clients coming in, and it's May. Which is very, very funny. And so there, of course, there's different cycles when I'm seeing that is more of a lift in the number of hosts and more of a wane in with some of the hosts. And that's okay. Understanding that knowledge gives me the power to strategically plan. right? And so when you are tracking what's going on in your business, right, you're not only tracking when you're having clients, you're tracking what kind of packages they're purchasing from you, how many packages, do they repeat those packages? And what's going on? What are you attracting into, if you're a coach, what kind of clients are you attracting in? What are they attracted to? And when you are tracking that over a number of years, you're going to start to learn a lot more about yourself and where you've been putting your energy and your focus in your business. So let's just say you've done all of that, and you look at it and you go, you know what? I That's not fun for me. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't, when I first started this business, one of the things that I did was I built websites, and I was pretty good at them and pretty fast at them. And, I love technology. So that was easy for me. But there came a time about 2 years in, I was like, okay, uncle, I don't want to do this anymore. So that was incumbent on me to, first of all, recognize that, and then to start to create a different plan. Now, here's the challenge, my friends. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't want to, if that's if that's too old of a saying for you, I apologize. But you don't want to get rid of it. Like in my case, I didn't stop creating websites until I had another area of my business that I had grown that could replace that business of the websites. So this is going to take a great deal of, it might take extra time on your part. It's going to take some extra creativity on your part, because you're going to need to keep that business going and keep putting those hours in while you go over here to create. Now, if you completely stop, that's going to be an impact on your finances with your business. It also can be an impact on your visibility and your interaction with clients, because if you are not putting content out there, if you're not communicating about what you're doing, if you're not making offers, if you're not just being visible in the world and you go away, the fact of the matter is that when you come back, and I've seen people do this again and again, and they come back, and where they maybe felt like they got pretty good traction with the algorithms and on social media, even in their newsletters that they were sending out, when they go away and they come back, people have moved on. People have stopped and they've moved on. And that's the energy that we have in the world today. And it's not good or bad, it just is. So it's incumbent really on you to create a plan. Don't just stop something and then go away and try to create, because you're going to cut your business off at the knees. And that's not a smart move to make. So, right there, that's your first strategic plan. It's like, okay, I want to do something different, but I need to create a window of time to do that. Maybe I need to, get up an hour earlier. Maybe I have to commit to working half days or full days on Saturdays, or, maybe I take half of a Sunday. Whatever works for you in your life, you've got to create some additional space to, you've got to carve out some additional space so that you can create that new offering, but you've got to keep that business going. And now that's more important than ever because of how much we communicate and advertise online. Now, if your business isn't online, maybe it won't impact you, but I would suggest that it probably will. And the other thing that happens is, if you are not planning this out, what will happen for you on a personal level is you'll start to lose that intrinsic motivation to get up and go. Now, I know for myself, if I don't have things on my calendar, if I don't have things that I have to do, and yes, I could always be working on something, but if I don't have it in my calendar, my motivation starts to dip. And when your motivation starts to dip, your creativity goes along with it. You just don't have what it required really to jump out there. So one of the best things that you can do is keep your calendar quite booked, because that will keep you moving in a forward direction. Okay? I'm not talking about overwhelming yourself, but I am talking about Keep things going because, what's the saying? An object in motion stays in motion. The same is true for us. The exact same thing is true for us. If you don't have to get out of bed because you have a client or you're going to attend a training, um, you might just stay in bed and really, really enjoy it. Now, I know I've shifted a few things in my life and my body likes me to stay in bed a little longer in the morning, but I still hold myself accountable to be at my desk at the same time every single day. And if I don't do that, it's very easy for me to get off track. I know that about myself. So you've got to look at that. What is that possibly true for you as well? Okay, so now that we've talked about this, now let's start to look at the bigger piece of strategic planning. This is something that I would suggest is a great thing to do with someone who's experienced at really looking at the big picture of a business and strategically planning that. Now, what I have done with my clients is we've spent a number of hours creating a plan for them for the next 3 months, 6 months, and then a year out. And when this is the very cool thing. At first, kind of bringing all this information to a document and really looking at this huge, huge scope initially can be overwhelming. But what you want to do is you're really reverse engineering, right? And what you want to be doing is you want to say, okay, a year from now, what do I want to be celebrating? What do I want to be celebrating? Again, not just the money. You've got to look way beyond that. So again, you've got to have what success is for you. So that's going to start to drive what your targets are. Okay. And so when you do that and you say, okay, this is what I want to be celebrating in a year, then you can turn around and go, okay, how am I going to get there? And as you start to back up and you start to look at, okay, well, let's say somebody they want to double their business. So they want to have, maybe they were making $50,000 a year. They'd like to make $100,000 a year. Okay. So if you take that and you divide the 100,000 by 12, you're going to come out with, let's just say, not quite 10,000, just a little less than 10,000 a month, right? I can't do math in my head. I have to have the calculator in front of me, but you go backwards. Now, if the first month of this new strategic plan, you say, okay, well, I am going to do 10,000 this next month. And my very first question is, so tell me how much money you earned last month. And oftentimes they'll have earned 2,000, 3,000, maybe $5,000, right? And I will be straight up with them. And I want you to be straight up with you. For you to go from 5,000 to 10,000 in 1 month, that is likely not going to happen. Let's be straight up. Okay. If it was that easy for you to go to double your income from 1 month to the next, you would have already done it. And so what you want to do is you want to gradually increase your expectations on the money side. Okay. So the money side is one aspect. Then you want to start to look at, okay, so I have 4 different products that I offer. And based on those products, and here's the prices. So you've got all of your prices, right? You've got them all listed. And you say, okay, this month I want to make $6,000. So you start to look at how many of each of these product lines did I actually sell last month? And then you want to challenge yourself. And so if you need to, increase by 5% or 50%, you've got to be realistic at which ones do I enjoy selling. And then once you've decided upon that, then you've got to do that for each of the months. You want to do this 12 months out, right? Once you've decided which products, now, of course, these things can be changed as you go forward. Perhaps there's new offerings you're going to bring to the table. Maybe there's some new things you're going to do in order to grow your business and expand your business. But once you've got that laid out, then you can step back. That's just the what. That's the what. That's not the how. And it's not the who. So you've got to be looking at all 3 of these areas. What, who, and how. So who are you going to be in business with? Who are your customers and clients going to be? And so again, if you're looking to double your business, perhaps it's time that you step back and really looked at who are these people that I have had in my business. And again, if you're moving from one product to another product, you're going to have a different client, right? Your ideal client is going to be different. So I've gone from clients who wanted websites to clients who wanted to have a global authority online. That's a very different client. Now, it could be the same, but it oftentimes is not. They're coming from a very different perspective. So it really is important that when you're changing your focus, that you step back and you take a deep dive into who your ideal client is. I was in a networking group today, and actually one of the people, Blondina, who's in the chat room today, we were in a group together, in one of the breakout rooms rather, in the group. And this is exactly what we were talking about. We were talking about our ideal clients, and there's some great questions that you can be asking about who is your ideal client. And when you start to dive into the real deep exposure of who that ideal client is, guess what that does? That starts to show you more and more and more about who they are. And once you have a really deep understanding of who your clients are, and you have down the products that you are looking to offer to them, that's when you are now armed with the great information to be able to start creating the how. How am I going to make these offerings? How am I going to get this information out there? Without doing these first steps, and this is what most people are doing, they're saying, okay, I'm going to sell, I'm going to teach people how to, and I'm going to build websites. Okay. And so what people do is they start going out there and they just start saying, hey, I build websites. Who wants a website? Hey, I build websites. Who wants a website? And they're doing this all over the place without any experience, without any true understanding of what type of websites, how they need to present what they're doing, and they're just throwing things into the wind. They're basically flying by the seat of their pants, hoping that someone will say yes. And the fact of the matter is there are thousands and thousands of other people out there doing the exact same thing. So this is an incredibly important aspect of strategic planning. And strategic planning doesn't happen in a half an hour or an hour. This takes time to keep coming back to it again and again. So we're going to go for our next break of the show. Don't go away. I've got more to share with you about strategic planning or flying by the seat of your pants. Stick around.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Oh, my friends, thank you so much for being here. If you are looking to grow your business, if you're looking to have more fun, more pleasure, and more expansion with the clients that you're reaching, with the people that you're serving, with the people you're impacting, and with your bank accounts, you're at the right place. Because tonight we're talking all about strategic planning. Now, before we jump back into the show, I do want to let you know that we do have Inspired Choices Network does have their own smartphone app. And you can go into your app store and just search Inspired Choices Network, download the app. It is free. And from there, you can you can listen to all of the live episodes. You can check out everybody's podcast. We have thousands upon thousands of episodes in our library that you can be listening to or even watching the TV episodes right from your smartphone. And when you are doing that, when you are listening and you're connecting with the host, you're going to learn so much of what they have to share. We have some very brilliant hosts here on the network that they just bring their passion and everything that they love to talk about and they love to share with to the world. And they are really dynamic people. I'm really proud of all of our hosts and what they're bringing to the world. So do go and download that app because you will be happy you did. All right. So strategic planning. For the first segment, we were talking about when you're new in your business, right? And what you need to be doing, really get into the adventure of your business. The second phase of your business, the next 5 years of your business, from 5 years to 10 years, this is where you start to do your strategic planning. Now, let me tell you what strategic planning is not. Oh, I have a really good idea. I'm going to write a book. And you just stop and you start to do it. Well, it's a plan. It's about a minute long plan, though. That's not a plan. That's certainly not a strategic plan. A strategic plan is having a strategy, your strategy for growing your business, a strategy for the impact that you want to make in the world. Maybe even it's a strategy for the legacy that you want to leave. The impact, the greater the impact that you can imagine that you want to bring, the real heart connection to your business, that is going to be so fantastic for you because what you're going to start to see is instead of being in reaction, you're going to start to look at, okay, is this choice that I'm making, is this action that I'm making, is this really contributing to my long range strategic plan? And when you're coming from that space, when you're coming from that energy of, I have a really huge desire to make an impact, you're going to start to do things in a very, very different way. You're going to start to hold yourself accountable. That should be in your strategic plan. Many, many, many people, more now today than ever, except when we were farmers, but more people today than ever are working from home. And one of the greatest challenges for any business owner that's working from home is holding themselves accountable to get to their desk every day, to get to their work every day, and to stay connected to it. Many people allow themselves to be interrupted by family members, by friends, that they just are, putting out there, whatever. And that's not a great thing for them because when they're doing that, what they're actually doing is they're allowing themselves to be distracted. Okay, so I just want to read the chat room. So yes, how do I get there without being distracted? So Sarah had asked, how do I get from where you are today? How do you get from where you are today to where you want to be? So you've got to ask yourself about distraction. And it's a very cool thing. So it's so easy to get interested in all these things that are out there in the world, all these things that people are doing. And you might say to yourself, oh, I'd really like to do this. I'd really like to do this. I'd really like to do this. That's how you get easily pulled in and distracted. What you want to be doing is writing that list of what success looks like. And once you've got that list of what success looks like, really, then you're going into looking at your ideal clients, but then you're also going into what are some of the things that I want to accomplish? What are some of the things that I really want to put out into the world? When you start to break down each of these things that you want to accomplish in the world, and you're really looking at it, with a very generous idea of how long it will take you, these other ideas that come and these other things that are interesting, it doesn't mean that you ignore them. It doesn't mean that you shut off your desires. But what it means is that you want to park them. So, what you want to do is have an idea book, have a whiteboard that you're writing down some other ideas, and they can be in the future creation ideas. And the really cool thing is as you start to do this, as you start to get a strategic plan on executing in your business, on creating in your business, and bringing it out, like the how do I bring this out to the world? How do I educate people about what I do? When you get a strategic plan with that, you're not going to get frustrated with having all these other ideas. The great thing is that when you have a strategy in these first few things, when you're getting them out there, you're going to get faster at this of understanding how you do things. You're going to get faster at what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what really lights you up and what doesn't light you up. So when you go to the next thing, when you go to the second and third and fourth and all of these other ideas, you will have more momentum, you'll have more experience, and you will know more about who you are in business. You see, that's something that people don't really spend a lot of time doing, is getting to know who they are in business. If you really understand, look, this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm not good at, I need to hire somebody for that. Not, I just don't want to do it, but what are you good at? There are a ton of things, on computers that I'm really good at. And when I first started my business with the network, so I do business coaching as well as I'm the CEO of the Inspired Choices Network. Well, when I started the network, most of all of the tasks, I did them. And I strongly suggest that you should know how to do every single solitary thing in your business so that if someone else goes away, you're able to continue moving your amazing business forward. But because I was really good at business, these business tasks, when it came to hiring other people, I had a really hard time giving up what I was really, really good at. But what I needed to start to look at is, does this make sense? Where I've got all of these other creative, growing ideas, does it make sense, even though I'm good at it, to keep doing that? So when it comes to that, you've got to look at, are these tasks duplicatable? Right? That's again another strategy on how do you grow your business. When you hire someone, you just doubled your time. That's how you grow your business right there. And so when you're looking at, is this a duplicatable task and can I teach this to someone else? That's when you start to get into your strategy, and then you can start to come over and get out of doing the daily tasks, and you can go over and look at some of the creative pieces, right? One of the big things that you want to have in your strategy building is what to get you from here to there. It depends where you are in your business. It really depends at what stage you are in your business. Are you new in your business? Are you in the second 5 to 10 years? Are you in the 10 to 15 years? Where you are at in your business and how excited you are about your business, that's going to tell you a great deal about, okay, I really do want to dive into the strategies. I want to dive into the strategies more and more. And it's not that you're not serious about your business in the first 5 years, but it's you don't know who you are in business and what it is that you like. So you've got to be willing to get in there, as I said before, and really get your hands wet with every single solitary thing. Okay, Karen said in the chat room, a strategy for the impact I want to have on the world. Now, what is the impact I want to have? That is a really big question, isn't it? And it's a big question for all of us. What kind of an impact do you want to have? When you ask that question, I really think you need to spend some time journaling about this. I think you need to spend some time meditating about this. I think you maybe even need time to just get creative, maybe with a pen and writing some different thoughts down. What you don't want to do is be very general about the impact that you want to leave in the world. The more specific you get with your impact that you want to be in the world, the more and more you can drill down on your strategic plan and what you are going to want to do. So if you want to have If you want to be on stages with thousands of people listening to you speaking, okay, where are you going to start? You're not just going to go out there and start applying to be on stages, because they're going to look at your resume of your business. And if you haven't actually done the things that get you to that place, you're not going to be hired, right? So one of the ways to for me to get onto stages was to start with my voice having my own radio show. And that's what I started to do, actually 13 years ago. 13 years ago, 12 years 12 years ago, sorry. 12 years ago is I started to do this. And so as I grew with my knowledge, with my expertise, with my experience, then I started to get more confident. Started to get clearer about what I wanted to communicate to the world and what I wanted to bring to different groups of people. And then I started to get hired to actually go out and speak on stages. And that's how you have to do it. You have to get your feet wet, and you have to start creating with the intention of it moving in that direction. So you have to really spend a great deal of time getting to know yourself, and then being willing to look at this again and again. Most people don't spend the time each and every month looking at their strategic plan, let alone doing it once a year. I've worked with so many people, they'd never done it before. And so that can be, feel like a big mountain in the beginning, but it's not. Okay, we're up to our third and final break of this show. Wow, these shows go so fast. So you are listening to Christine McIver. I'm your host on the Inspired Choices show here on the Inspired Choices Network. Stick around, my friends. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Okay, my friends, thank you so much for being with us tonight. If you're listening and there's something that I said that's really sparked a question, don't hesitate. Send me an email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, or you can send me an email on social media. You can find me on all of the platforms, or maybe you're listening on one of the many podcast platforms. You'll need to really click on my email address, send me an email, and I can most certainly answer some of your questions. I love getting emails from listeners. It's really wonderful to hear what your thoughts are. So we've got a question in the chat room, and I think it's a pretty cool question to kind of finish off tonight. Karen said, past planning did not work well. How do I get past this? I am so easily distracted. And there's no magic bullet. There's no magic answer. The answer actually is you keep trying. You keep going. The greatest thing that does happen for business owners, especially that work from home, is they get distracted. they're getting distracted because they're worrying that they're not succeeding. They're not planning out. They're not doing an analysis of the successes. I often have talked about there's 4 stages of creating. So, and most people, they're not going into the 4th stage of creating, which is actually sucking the life out of them expanding their business. So the first stage is actually having a dream. You start to get this excitement, this idea, the dream about doing something. And then the second stage of creating is you're creating a plan, right? You start to create a plan of what you want to put out in the world, your product, your service, your offering. The third stage is you execute on that offering. You start to be doing it, and you're doing it, and you're putting it out in the world, and you're offering it, and you're offering it. And then what happens is you start to lose ambition, excitement, and you start to pull back. And what you're actually doing is you start to go back into, oh my gosh, I got to think of something new. I got to think of something new. And then you start that whole cycle again. But the fourth step is celebration. And when you're celebrating, celebration is fuel for the soul to keep you moving, to keep that intrinsic motivation happening. So when you have those 4 stages, when you are into that stage of celebration and you are tracking what you are doing, that's where you're going to get a big visual on what is working and what's not working. Most people are afraid to track what they're doing because what they see is lack. And that's not true. If you start to evaluate what you did each day, what you succeeded at, what you completed, what you're in creation of, as you do that, you're going to continue to fuel yourself in moving forward. And when you start to see the movement that you're getting on each of these creations in your business, on each of the movements forward, you're going to be less interested on what's going on outside of you, and you're going to stay more focused because you want to see more and more results. So when you're tracking what you're doing, even the little things, that's where you start to see results happening. Results is not just the bottom line. Results is not the end. There are results that you want to be tracking all along. And as you are tracking and you've been doing your strategic planning and you're checking in with your strategic plan every month, what you're going to start to do, and this is the very cool thing, is you're tracking what's going on, and you're thinking about that strategic plan. You're going to start to take some very refined actions to move you into that plan even more. But if you're not tracking yourself, you're going to get to the end of the month, the end of the 6 months, the end of the year, and you're going to be incredibly frustrated. And oftentimes you will allow yourself to be distracted, or you will allow yourself to quit and give up. And we don't want to do this. Remember, go back to that first moment that you thought about doing that business and what lit you up. Remember what I always say, that business came to you because it wants to come through you. There's something about you that this business knows you can deliver. It's up to you to really get serious about this and have a plan every single solitary day. Stop flying by the seat of your pants. You're missing amazing opportunities with yourself, with your growth, and with your business. And when you start to see the results that are happening every day, the small steps, and you're celebrating them, oh, watch the pleasure that starts to happen in your business. It's so amazing. When I started to do this, the creative ideas that started to come more and more blew my mind. My team used to say, oh gosh, oh no, she's got another idea. And that's the God's truth. Today alone, I thought of 2 books. I thought of one during the networking event that I was in, and one later in that day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely giving up sleeping because I really want to execute on all of these ideas. So I really do hope that this show gave you some really strong outline of what you can be doing to really be moving forward, both in your business and in your life. If you've got questions, again, I really invite you to email me. Next week, we're going to be talking about taking that next step when you want to quit. So, my friends, I really want you to take good care. Have fun in your business. Your business should be pleasurable. And remember, like I always say, you can always make another choice. There's just another step choice. There is a choice one step away. Take good care. Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you back here again next week on the Inspired Choices Network. Thank you, everyone, so much. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.